Identity. After my baseball career ended, I struggled to find myself. When you spend your whole life defining yourself in one way and that disappears, who are you now? Military veterans and former entrepreneurs report similar feelings. If your identity is wrapped up in a belief like, I'm a great soldier, what happens when your period of service ends? For many business owners, their identity is something along the lines of, I'm the CEO or I'm the founder. If you have spent every waking moment working on your business, how will you feel after you sell the company? The key to mitigating these losses of identity is to redefine yourself such that you get to keep important aspects of your identity even if your particular role changes. I'm an athlete becomes I'm the type of person who is mentally tough and loves a physical challenge. I'm a great soldier transforms into I'm the type of person who is disciplined, reliable, and great on a team. I'm the CEO translates to I'm the type of person who builds and creates things. When chosen effectively, an identity can be flexible rather than brittle. Like water flowing around an obstacle, your identity works with the changing circumstances rather than against them. The following quote from the Tao Te Ching encapsulates the idea perfectly. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Ooh. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken, the soft and supple will prevail. Lao Tzu. Very nice. Habits deliver numerous benefits, but the downside is that they can lock us into our previous patterns of thinking and acting. Even when the world is shifting around us, everything is impermanent. Life is constantly changing, so you need to periodically check in to see if your old habits and beliefs are still serving you. A lack of self awareness is poison. Chapter summary. The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside is that we can stop paying attention to little errors. Habits plus deliberate practice equals mastery. Reflection and a review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. Conclusion. The secret to results that last. There's an ancient Greek parable known as the Sorite's paradox, which talks about the effect one small action can have when repeated enough times. One formulation of the paradox goes as follows. Can one coin make a person rich? If you give a person a pile of 10 coins, you wouldn't claim that he or she is rich. But what if you add another, and another, and another? At some point, you will have to admit that no one can be rich unless one coin can make him or her so. We can say the same about atomic habits. Can one tiny change transform your life? It's unlikely. You would say so. But what if you made another, and another, and another? At some point, you will have to admit that your life was transformed by one small change. The holy grail of habit change is not a single 1% improvement, but 1,000 of them. It's a bunch of atomic habits stacking up, each one a fundamental unit of the overall system. In the beginning, small improvements can often seem meaningless because they get washed away by the weight of the system. Just as one coin wouldn't make you rich. One positive change, like meditating for 1 minute or reading one page each day, is unlikely to deliver a noticeable difference. Gradually, though, as you continue to layer small changes on top of one another, the scales in life start to move. Each improvement is like adding a grain of sand to the positive side of the scale, slowly tilting things in your favor. Eventually, if you stick with it, you hit a tipping point. Suddenly, it feels easier to stick with good habits. The weight of the system is working for you rather than against you. Over the course of this book, we've looked at dozens of stories about top performers. We've heard about Olympic gold medalists, award winning artists, business leaders, life saving physicians, and star comedians who have all used the science of small habits to master their crafts and vault to the top of their field. Each of the people, teams, and companies we have covered has faced different circumstances, but ultimately progressed in the same way through a commitment to tiny, sustainable, unrelenting improvements. Success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It is a system to improve, an endless process to refine. Wow. Okay. In chapter 1, I said if you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. As this book draws to a close, I hope the opposite is true. With the four laws of behavior change, you have a set tools and strategies that you can use to build better systems and shape better habits. Sometimes a habit will be hard to remember and you'll need to make it obvious. Other times you won't feel like starting and you'll need to make it attractive. In many cases, you'll find that a habit will be too difficult and you'll need to make it easy. And sometimes you won't feel like sticking with it and you'll need to make it satisfying. Behaviors are effortless here, behaviors are difficult here. Invisible, unattractive, hard, unsatisfying, obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. You want to push your good habits towards the left side of the spectrum by making them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Meanwhile, you want to cluster your bad habits towards the right side by making them invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. This is a continuous process. There is no finish line. There is no permanent solution. Wherever you're looking to improve, and whenever you're looking to improve, you can rotate through the four laws of behavior change until you find the next bottleneck. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Round and round, always looking for the next way to get 1% better. The secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvements. It's remarkable that you can what you can build if you just don't stop. It's remarkable the business you can build if you don't stop working. It's remarkable the body you can build if you don't stop training. It's remarkable the knowledge you can build if you don't stop learning. It's remarkable the fortune you can build if you don't stop saving. It's remarkable the friendships you can build if you don't stop caring. Small habits don't add up, they compound. That's the power of atomic habits. Tiny changes, remarkable results. Wow. We're gonna take a small break. So, like, yo, that book was really so good. Oh my god. Wow. Atomic habits don't add up, they compound. That's so beautiful, honestly. Very beautiful. This book, man, oh man. All right. That was Atomic Habits. If you missed any part, I will be posting all 7 parts on the YouTube channel, 1 part a day. On Project Roger's channel. The first part will be uploaded tomorrow, um, at 3 p.m. So we're going to go ahead and change this out, and we're going to start with the new book. New book, new book, new book, new book, new book. New book, Awaken the Giant Within. How to take. Wait, let me pause. How to awaken the giant within. How to take immediate control of your mental, emotional, physical, and financial destiny. This book has. My god, this book has a lot of pages. Is there more? This book has 490 pages. Alright, so I'll be going, let's see, 490. And we're going to divide this by 14, since we'll be reading this for the next 2 weeks. And this is such a huge book. Equals 35. We will be reading 35 pages a day. So we are stopping today at page 35. We're gonna start from 1 to and at page 35. Let's go. Awaken the giant within. Let's go. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this. Woo! Let's go. Okay. Awaken the giant within. Part 1. Unleash your power. Chapter 1. Dreams of Destiny. We all have dreams. Wait, a consistent man believes in destiny. A capricious man believes in chance. A consistent man. Okay. We all have dreams. We all want to believe deep down that in our souls, that we have a special gift, that we can make a difference, that we can touch others in a special way, and that we can make the world a better place. At one time in our lives, we all had a vision for the quality of life that we desire and deserve. Yet for many of us, those dreams have become so shrouded in the frustrations and routines of daily life that we no longer even make an effort to accomplish them. For far too many, the dream is dissipated, and with it, so has the will to shape our destinies. Many have lost that sense of certainty that creates the winner's edge. My life's quest has been to restore the dream and to make it real, to get each of us to remember and use the unlimited power that lies sleeping within us all. I'll never forget the day it really hit me that I was truly living my dream. I was flying my jet helicopter from business meetings in Los Angeles, traveling the Orange County on the way of one of my seminars. Bruh. Okay. Um as I flew over the city of Glendale, I suddenly recognized a large building, and I stopped the helicopter and hovered above it. As I looked down, I realized this was the building that I'd worked in as a janitor a mere 12 years ago. In those days, I had been concerned whether my 1960 Volkswagen would hang together for a 30-minute trip to work. My life had been focused on how I was going to survive. I had felt fearful and alone. But that day, as I hovered there in the sky, I thought, what a difference a decade can make. I did have dreams back then, but at the time, it seemed they'd never be realized. Today, though, I've come to believe that all my past failures and frustrations were actually laying the foundation for the understandings that have created the new level of living I now enjoy. As I continued my flight south along the coastal route, I spotted dolphins playing with the surfers in the waves below. It's a sight that my wife, Becky, and I treasure as one of life's special gifts. Finally, I reached Arvine. Looking below, I was a little disturbed when I saw that the off ramp to my seminar was jammed with bumper to bumper traffic for more than a mile. I thought to myself, boy, I hope whatever else is going on tonight gets started soon so that the people coming to my seminar arrive on time. But as I but as I descended to the helipad, I began to see a new picture. Thousands of people being held back by security where I was just about to land. Suddenly, I began to grasp the reality. The traffic jam had been caused by people going to my event. Although we had expected approximately 2,000 attendees, I was facing a crowd of 7,000 in an auditorium that could only hold 5,000. When I walked into the arena from the landing pad, I was surrounded by hundreds of people who wanted to give me a hug or tell me how my work had positively impacted their lives. Okay, my Mr. Popular. The stories they shared with me were incredible. One mother introduced me to her son who had been labeled hyperactive and learning disabled. Utilizing the principles of the state management taught in this book, she was not only able to get him off the drug Ritalin, but they had also been transferred to California where her son has been retested and evaluated at the level of genius. You should have seen his face as she shared with me his new label. A gentleman talked about how he had freed himself from cocaine using some of the success conditioning techniques that you learn from this book. A couple of their mid a couple in their mid 50s shared with me that after 15 years of marriage, they had been on the brink of divorce until they learned about personal rules. A salesman told me how his monthly income had jumped from 2,000 to over 12,000 in a mere 6 months. And an entrepreneur related that he had increased corporate revenues by over 3 million in 18 months by applying the principles of quality questions and emotional management. A lovely young woman showed me a picture of her former self, having lost 52 pounds by applying the principles of leverage that are detailed in this book. My God, a lot of principles. I like that so far. I was touched so deeply by the emotions in that room that I got choked up, and at first I couldn't speak. As I looked out on my audience and I saw 5,000 smiling, cheering, loving faces, in that moment I realized that I am living my dream. What a feeling to know what that beyond a shadow of a doubt, I had the information, strategies, philosophies, and skills that could assist any one of these people in empowering themselves to make the changes they desired most. A flood of images and emotions flowed over me. I began to remember an experience I'd had only a few years before, sitting in my 400 square foot bachelor apartment in Venice, California, all alone and crying as I listened to all the lyrics of a Neil Diamond song. I am, I said, to no one there, and no one heard at all, not even the chair. I am, I cried. I am, said I, and I am lost, and I can't even say why, leaving me lonely still. I remembered feeling like my life didn't matter, as if the events of the world were controlling me. I also remember the moment my life changed, the moment I finally said, I've had it. I know I'm much more than I am demonstrating mentally, emotionally, and physically in my life. I made a decision in that moment which was to alter my life forever. I decided to change virtually every aspect of my life. I decided that this decision would bring me so much will bring me to such an incredible moment. Wait, who would have guessed? Wait, what? I'm lost. I decided I would never again settle for less than I could be. Who would have guessed that this decision would bring me to such an incredible moment? I gave my all at the seminar that night, and when I left the auditorium, crowds of people followed me to the helicopter to see me off. To say I was deeply moved by the experience would be an understatement. A tear slid down my cheek as I thanked my Creator for these wonderful gifts. As I lifted off the grass and ascended into the moonlight, I had to pinch myself. Could this be real? Am I the same guy who 8 years ago was struggling, frustrated, feeling alone, and incapable of making my life work? Fat, broke, and wondering how I could even survive? How could a young kid like me, with nothing but a high school education, have created such dramatic changes? My answer is simple. I learned to harness the principle of I now call concentration of power. Most people have no idea of the giant capacity we can immediately command when we focus all of our resources on mastering a single area of our lives. Controlled focus is like a laser beam that can cut through anything that seems to be stopping you. When we focus when we focus consistently on improvement in any area, we develop we develop unique distinctions on how to make that area better. That's true. One reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power and power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. In fact, I believe most people fail in life simply because they major in minor things. I believe that one of life's major lessons is learning to understand what makes us do what we do. Okay, where was I? Where was I? What we do right here. What shapes human behavior? The answers to this question provide critical keys for shaping your own destiny. Is this too bright? I'm gonna put it a little. My entire life has been continually driven by a singular, compelling focus. What makes the difference in the quality of people's lives? How is it that so often people from such humble beginnings and devastating backgrounds manage, in spite of it all, create lives that inspire us? Conversely, why do many of those born into privileged environments with every resource for success at their fingertips end up fat, frustrated, and often chemically addicted? What makes some people's lives an example and others a warning? What is the secret that creates passionate, happy, and grateful lives in many, while for others that the refrain might be, is it all is that all there is? My own magnificent obsession began with some simple questions. How can I take immediate control of my life? What can I do today that can make a difference? What could help me and others to shape our destinies? How can I explain, learn, grow, and share that knowledge with others in a meaningful and enjoyable way? At an early age, let me see if I can turn this off. How it looks. All right, I'll stick with this. At an early age, I developed a belief that we're all here to contribute something unique. That deep within each of us lies a special gift. You see, I truly believe that we all have a sleeping giant within us. Each of us has a talent, a gift, our own bit of genius just wanting to be tapped. It might be a talent for art or music. It might be a special way of relating to ones you love. It might be a genius for selling or innovating or reaching out in your business or your career. I choose to believe that our Creator doesn't play favorites. That we've all been created unique, but with equal opportunities to experiencing life to the fullest. I decided many years ago that the most important way I could spend my life would be to invest it in something that would outlast it. I decided that somehow I must contribute in some way that would live as long after that would live long after I was gone. Today, I have an incredible privilege of sharing my ideas and feelings with literally millions of people through my books, tapes, and television shows. I've personally worked with over a quarter of a million people in the last few years alone. I've assisted members of Congress, CEOs, presidents of companies and countries, managers and mothers, salespeople, accountants, lawyers, doctors, psychiatrists, counselors, and professional athletes. I've worked with phobics, the clinically depressed, people with multiple personalities, and those who thought they had no personality. Now I have the unique good fortune of sharing the best of what I've learned with you. And for that opportunity, I am truly grateful and excited. Through it all, I've continued to recognize the power individuals have to change virtually anything and everything in their lives in an instant. I've learned that the resources we need to turn our dreams into reality are within us, merely wanting for the day when we decide to wake up and claim our birthright. I wrote this book for one reason, to be a wake-up call that will challenge those with who are committed to living and being more to tap their God-given power. There are ideas and strategies in this book to help you produce specific, measurable, long lasting changes in yourself and others. You see, I believe I know who you really are. I believe you and I must be kindred souls. Your desire, your desire to expand has brought you to this book. It is the invisible hand that guided you. I know that no matter where you are in your life, you want more. No matter how well you're already doing or how challenged you now may be, deep inside of you, there lies a belief that your experience of life can and will be much greater than it already is. You are destined for your own unique form of greatness, whether it is as an outstanding professional, teacher, business person, mother, or father. Most importantly, you not only believe this, but you've taken action. You not only bought this book, but you're also doing something right now that unfortunately is unique. You're reading it, and I'm reading it out loud, you know what I'm saying? Statistics show that less than 10% of people who buy a book read past the first chapter. No way. That less than 10% of people who buy a book read past the first chapter. No way. What an unbelievable waste. This is a giant book that you can use to produce giant results in your life. Clearly, you're the kind of person who won't cheat yourself by dabbling. Yes, by consistently taking advantage of each of the chapters in this book, you'll ensure your ability to maximize your potential. I challenge you not only to do whatever it takes to read this book in its entirety, unlike the masses who quit, but also to use what you learn in simple ways each day. I got you, author. This is the all important step that's necessary for you to produce the results you're committed to. How to create lasting change. For changes to be of any true value, they've got to be lasting and consistent. We've all experienced change for a moment, only to feel let down and disappointed in the end. In fact, many people attempt change with a sense of fear and dread because unconsciously they believe they believe the changes will only be temporary. A prime example of this is someone who needs to begin dieting but finds himself putting it off. primarily because he unconsciously knows that whatever pain he endures in order to create the change will bring him only a short term reward. For most of my life, I've pursued what I consider to be the organizing principles of lasting change. And you'll learn many of these and how to utilize them in the pages that follow. But for now, I'd like to share with you three elementary principles of change that you and I can use immediately to change our lives. Okay, three elementary principles. All right, bet. While these principles are simple, they are also extremely powerful when they are skillfully applied. These are the exact same changes that an individual must make in order to create personal change, that a company must make in order to maximize its potential, and that a country must make in order to carve out its place in the world. In fact, as a world community, there are the changes that we all must take to preserve the quality of life around the globe. Step 1: raise your standards. Anytime you sincerely want to make a change, the first thing you must do is to raise your standards. When people ask me what really changed in my life 8 years ago, I tell them that absolutely the most important thing was changing what I demanded for myself. I wrote down all the things I would no longer accept in my life, all the things I would no longer tolerate, and all the things that I aspired to becoming. Think of the far reaching consequences set in motion by men and women who raised their standard and acted in accordance with them, deciding they would tolerate no less. History chronicles the inspiring examples of people like Leonardo da Vinci, Abraham Lincoln, Helen Keller, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Albert Einstein, Cesar Chavez, Soichiro Honda, and many others who took the magnificently powerful step of raising their standards. The same power that was available to them was available to you. If you have the courage to claim it, changing an organization, a company, a country, or a world begins with a simple step of changing yourself. Step 2: change your limiting beliefs. If you raise your standards but don't really believe you can meet them, you've already sabotaged yourself. You won't even try. You'll be lacking that sense of certainty that allows you to tap the deepest capacity that's within you even as you read this. Our beliefs are like unquestioned commands telling us how things are, what's possible and what's impossible, what we can do and what not and cannot do. They shape every action, every thought, and every feeling that we experience. As a result, changing our belief systems is central to making any real and lasting change in our lives. We must develop a sense of certainty that we can and we will meet the new standards before we actually do. Beliefs, yes, believe. Okay. Without taking control of your belief systems, you can raise your standards as much as you like, but you'll never have the conviction to back them up. How much do you think Gandhi would have accomplished had he not believed with every fiber of his being in the power of nonviolent opposition? It was the congruence of his beliefs that gave him access to his inner resources and enabled him to meet challenges which would have swayed a less committed man. Empowering beliefs, this sense of certainty, is the force behind any great success throughout history. Okay, empowering beliefs. Okay. Step 3: change your strategy. In order to keep your commitment, you need the best strategies for achieving results. One of my core beliefs is that if you set a higher standard and you can get yourself to believe, then you certainly can figure out the strategies. You simply will find a way. Ultimately, that's what this whole book is about. It shows you strategies of getting the job done. And I'll tell you now that the best strategy is almost any case is to find a role model, someone who's already getting the results you want, and then tap into their knowledge. Learn what they're doing, what their core beliefs are, and how they think. Not only will this make you more effective, it will also save you a huge amount of time because you won't have to reinvent the wheel. You can fine tune it, reshape it, or perhaps even make it better. This book will provide you with the information and impetus to commit to all three of these master principles of quality change. It will help you raise your standards by discovering what they currently are and realizing what you want them to be. It will it will help you change the core beliefs that are keeping you from where you want to go and enhance those that already serve you. And it will quickly assist you in developing a series of strategies for more elegant, quickly, and effectively producing the results you desire. You see, in life, lots of people know what to do, but few people actually do what they know. Knowing is not enough. You must take action. If you will allow me the opportunity, through this book, I'll be your personal coach. I bet. What do coaches do? Well, first, they care about you. They've spent years focusing on a particular area of expertise and they've continued to make key distinctions about how to produce results more quickly. By utilizing these strategies, the strategies your coach shares with you, you can immediately and dramatically change your performance. Sometimes your coach doesn't even tell you something new, but reminds you of what you already know, and then gets you to do it. This is the role, with your permission, that I'll be playing for you. On that specifically, on what specifically will I be coaching you? I'll offer you distinctions of power in how to create lasting improvements in the quality of your life. Together, we will concentrate on, not dabble in, the mastery of the five areas of life that I believe impact us most. They are: 1. Emotional mastery. Mastering this lesson alone will take you most of the way towards mastering the other four. Think about it. Why do you want to lose weight? Is it just to have less fat on your body? Or is it because of the way you think you'd feel if you freed yourself of those unwanted pounds? Giving yourself more energy and vitality, making yourself more attractive to others, and boosting your confidence and self esteem to the stratosphere. Virtually everything we do is to change the way we feel. Yet, most of us have little or no training in how to do this quickly and effectively. It's amazing how often we use the intelligence at our command to work ourselves into unresourceful emotional states, forgetting about the multitude of innate talents each of us already possess. Too many of us leave ourselves at the mercy of outside events over which we may have no control, failing to take charge of our emotions over which we have all the control, and relying instead of on short-term quick fixes. How else can we explain the fact that while less than 5% of the world's population lives in the United States, we consume more than 50% of the world's cocaine? or that our national defense budget, which currently runs in the billions, is equaled by what we spend on alcohol consumption, or that 15 million Americans are diagnosed every year as clinically depressed, and more than $500 million worth of prescriptions are written for the antidepressant drug Prozac. Wow. In this book, you will discover what makes you do what you do and the triggers for the emotions you experience most often. You will then be given a step by step plan on how to identify which emotions are empowering, which are disempowering, and how to use both kinds to your advantage so that your emotions become not a hindrance, but instead a powerful tool in helping you achieve your highest potential. 2. Physical mastery. Is it worth it to have everything you've ever dreamed of, yet not have the physical health to be able to enjoy it? Do you wake up every morning feeling energized, powerful, and ready to take on the new day? Or do you wake up feeling as tired as the night before, riddled with aches and resentful at having to start all over again? Will your current lifestyle make you a statistic? One of every two Americans dies of coronary disease. One of three dies of cancer. To borrow a phrase from the 17th century physician Thomas Moffat, we are digging our graves with our teeth. As we cram our bodies with high fat, nutritionally empty foods, poison our system with cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs, and sit patiently in front of our TV sets, this second master lesson will help you take control of your physical health so that you not only look good, but you feel good and know that you are in control of your life. In a body that I mean, radiates vitality and allows you to accomplish your outcomes. 3. Relationship mastery. Other than mastering your own emotions and physical health, there is nothing I can think of that is more important than learning to master your relationships. Romantic, family, business, and social. After all, who wants to learn, grow, and become successful and happy all by themselves? The third master lesson in this book will reveal the secrets to enable you to create quality relationships. First with yourself, then with others. You will begin by discovering that what you value most highly, what your expectations are, and rules by which you play the game of life, and how it all relates to the other players. Then, as you achieve mastery in this all important skill, you will learn how to connect with people at the deepest level and be rewarded with something we all want to experience a sense of contribution, of knowing that we have made a difference in other people's lives. I found that, for me, the greatest resource is a relationship because it opens the doors to every resource I need. Mastery of this lesson will give you unlimited resources for growing and contributing. Financial mastery. By the time they reach the age of 65, most Americans are either dead broke or dead. That's hardly what most people envision for themselves as they look ahead to the golden age of retirement. Yet, without the conviction that you deserve financial well being backed up by a workable game plan, how can you turn your treasured scenario into reality? The fourth master lesson in this book will teach you how to go beyond the goal of mere survival in your autumn years of life. And even now, for that matter, because we have the good fortune to live in a capitalist society, each of us has the capability to carry out our dreams. Yet most of us experience financial pleasure on an ongoing basis. And we fantasize that having more money would relieve that pressure. This is a grand cultural delusion. Let me assure you that the more money you have, the more pressure you're likely to feel. The key is not the mere pursuit of wealth, but changing your beliefs and attitudes about it so you see it as means for contribution, not the end all be all for happiness. To forge a financial destiny of abundance, you will first learn how to change what causes scarcity in your life, and then to experience on a consistent basis the values, beliefs, and emotions that are essential to experiencing wealth and holding on to it and expanding it. Yes, I need that. The values, beliefs, and emotions to experiencing wealth and holding on to it and expanding it. Nice. Then you'll define your goal and shape your dreams with an eye toward achieving the highest possible level of well-being, filling you with peace of mind and freeing you to look forward with excitement to all the possibilities that life has to offer. Number 5, time mastery. Masterpieces take time. Yet, how many of us really know how to use it? I'm not talking about time management. I'm talking about actually taking time and distorting it, manipulating it so that it becomes your ally rather than your enemy. The fifth master lesson in this book will teach you first, how short term evaluations can lead to long term pain. You will learn how to make a real decision and how to manage your desire for instantaneous gratification, thus allowing your ideas, your creations, even your own potential, the time to reach full fruition. Next, you learn how to design the necessary maps and strategies for following up on your decision, making it a reality with the willingness to take massive action. The patience to experience lag time and the flexibility to change your approach is often as needed. Once you have mastered time, you will understand how true it is that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. I'm not sharing these lessons with you to say that I have all the answers or that my life has been perfect or smooth. I've certainly had my share of challenging times, but through it all, I've managed to learn, persist, and continually succeed throughout the years. Every time I've met a challenge, my level of mastery in these 5 areas continues to expand. Also, living my lifestyle may not be the answer for you. My dreams and goals may not be yours. I believe, though, that the lessons I've learned about how to turn dreams into reality, how to take the intangible and make it real, are fundamental to achieving any level of personal or professional success. I wrote this book to be an action guide, a textbook for increasing the quality of your life and the amount of enjoyment that you can pull from it. While I'm obviously extremely proud of my first book, Unlimited Power, and the impact it had on people all over the world, I feel this book will bring you some new and unique distinctions of power that can help you move your life to the next level. We'll be reviewing some of the fundamentals, since repetition is the mother of skill. Therefore, I hope this will be a book you read again and again, a book you come back to and utilize as a tool to trigger yourself to find the answers that already lie inside you. Even so, remember that as you read this book, you don't have to believe or use everything within it. Grab hold of the things you think are useful, put them in action immediately. You don't have to implement all the strategies or use all the tools in this book to make major changes. All the life changing potential individually. All have life changing potential individually. Used together, however, they will produce explosive results. This book is filled with the strategies for achieving the success you desire, with organizing principles that have modeled from some of the most powerful and interesting people in our culture. I've had the unique opportunity to meet, interview, and model a huge variety of people. People with impact and a unique character. From Norman Cousins to Michael Jackson, from Coach John Wooden to financial wizard John Templeton. From the captains of industry to cab drivers. In the following pages, you'll find not only the benefits of my own experience, but that of the thousands of books, tapes, seminars, and interviews that I've accumulated over the last 10 years of my life. As I continue the exciting, ongoing quest of learning and growing a little bit more every single day. The purpose of this book is not just to help you make a singular change in your life, but rather to be a pivot point that can assist you in taking your entire life to a new level. The focus of this book is on creating global changes. What do I mean by this? Well, you can learn to make changes in your life, overcome a fear or phobia, increase the quality of a relationship, or overcome your pattern of procrastinating. All these are incredibly valuable skills. If you've if you've read Unlimited Power, you've already learned many of them. However, as you continue through the following pages, you'll find that there are key leverage points within your life. If you make one small change, will literally transform every aspect of your life. This book is designed to offer you the strategies that can help you to create, live, and enjoy the life you currently may only be dreaming of. In this book, you will learn a series of simple and specific strategies for addressing the cause of any challenge and changing it with the least amount of effort. Excuse me. For example, it might be hard for you to believe that merely by changing one word that is part of your habitual vocabulary, you could immediately change your emotional patterns for life. Or by changing the constant questions that you consciously or unconsciously ask yourself, you could instantly change what you focus on and therefore what actions you take every day of your life. Or that by making one belief change, you could powerfully change your level of happiness. Yet in the following chapters, you'll learn to master these techniques and many more to affect the changes you desire. And so it's with great respect that I begin this relationship with you, as together we begin a journey of discovery and the actualization of our deepest and truest potentials. Life is a gift. It is often used and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back by becoming more. So let's begin our journey by exploring. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woo. Chapter 2, Decisions The pathway to power. Do you remember when Jimmy Carter was still the president of the United States? The Empire was striking back. Yoda and Pac Man were the rage, and nothing came between Brooke Shields and her Calvins. The Ayatollah Khomeini had come to power in Iran and held our fellow Americans hostage. In Poland, an electrician from Gdańsk's shipyards named Lech Walesa did the unthinkable. He decided to take a stand against the communist hold. He led his co-workers in a strike, and when they tried to lock him out of his place of work, he simply climbed over the wall. A lot of walls had come down since then, haven't they? Do you remember hearing the news that John Lennon was murdered? Do you remember when Mount St. Helens erupted, leveling 150 square miles? Did you cheer when the underdog US hockey team beat the Soviets and went on to win the Olympic gold medal? That was 1980, a little more than 10 years ago. What? How old is this book? Oh, nah. Think for a moment. Where were you then? What were you like? Who were your friends? What were your hopes and dreams? If someone had asked you, where will you be in 10 or 15 years? What would you have told them? Are you today where you wanted to be back then? A decade can pass quickly, can't it? More importantly, maybe we should be asking ourselves, how am I going to live the next 10 years of my life? How am I going to live today in order to create the tomorrow I'm committed to? What am I going to stand for from now on? What's important to me right now? And what will be important to me in the long term? What actions can I take today that will shape my ultimate destiny? You see, 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. The question is where? Who will you have become? How will you live? What will you contribute? Now's the time to design the next 10 years of your life, not once they're over. We must seize the moment. We've already immersed in the early part of a new decade, and we're entering the final years of the 20th century. And shortly will be in the 21st century, a new millennium. The year 2000 will be here before you know it. I'm just going to change that to 2022. And in a mere 10 years, you'll be looking back on this day and remembering it like you do 1980. Will you be pleased when you look back on the 90s or perturbed, delighted or disturbed? In the beginning of 1980, I was 19 years old. I was a 19-year-old kid. I felt alone and frustrated. I had virtually no financial resources. There were no success coaches available to me, no successful friends or mentors, no clear cut goals. I was floundering a fat. Yet within a few short years, I discovered a power that I used to transform virtually every area of my life. And once I'd mastered it, I used it to revolutionize my life in less than a year. It was the tool I used to dramatically increase my level of confidence and therefore my ability to take action and produce measurable results. I also use it to take back control of my physical well-being and permanently rid myself of 38 pounds of fat. Though through it, I attracted the woman of my dreams, married her, and created the family I desired. I used this power to change my income from subsistence level to over 1 million a year. It moved me from my tiny apartment where I was washing my dishes in the in the bathtub because there was no kitchen to my family's current home, the Melmar Castle. This one distinction took me from feeling completely alone and insignificant to feeling grateful for new opportunities to contribute something to millions of people around the world. And it's a power I continue to use every single day of making of my life to shape my personal destiny. In unlimited power, I made it abundantly clear that the most powerful way to shape our lives is to get ourselves to take action. The difference in the results that people produce comes down to what they've done differently from others in the same situations. Different actions produce different results. Why? Because any action is a cause set in motion, and its effect builds on past effects to move us in a definite direction. Every direction leads to an ultimate destination, our destiny. In essence, if we want to direct our lives, we must take control of our consistent actions. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but what we do consistently. The key and most important question then is this: what precedes all our actions? What determines what actions we take and therefore who we become? And what our ultimate destination is in life? What is the father of action? The answer, of course, is what I've been alluding to all along: the power of decision. Everything that happens in your life, both what you're thrilled with and what you're challenged by, began with a decision. I believe that it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. The decision that you're making right now, each day, will shape how you feel today, as well as who you're going to become in the 90s and beyond. As you look back over the last 10 years, were there times where a different decision would have made your life radically different from today? Either for better or for worse? Maybe, yeah, I think so. Maybe, for example, you made a career decision that changed your life, or maybe you failed to make one. Maybe you decided during the last 10 years to get married or divorced. Uh, you might have purchased a tape, a book, or attended a seminar and, as a result, changed your beliefs and actions. Maybe you decided to have children or to put it off in pursuit of a career. Perhaps you decided to invest in a home or a business. Maybe you decided to start exercising or to give it up. It could be that you decided to stop smoking. Maybe you decided to move to another part of the country or to take a trip around the world. How have these decisions brought you to this point in your life? Did you experience emotions of strategy and frustration, injustice, or hopelessness during the last decade of your life? I know I certainly did. Hey man, same, bruh. If so, what will you decide to do about them? What did you decide to do about them? Did you push beyond your limits or did you just give up? I push, man. I don't give up. How have these decisions shaped your current life path? Man is not the creature of circumstances. Circumstances are the creatures of men. That is a fact. That is a big fact. More than anything else, I believe it's our decisions, not the conditions of our lives, that determine our destiny. You and I both know that there are people who were born with advantages. They've had genetic advantages, environmental advantages, family advantages, and relationship advantages. Yet you and I also know that we constantly meet, read, and hear about their conditions, about people who, against all odds, have exploded beyond the limitations of their conditions by making new decisions about what to do with their lives. They've become examples of the unlimited power of the human spirit. If we decide to, you and I can make our lives one of these inspiring examples. If we decide to. How? Simply by making decisions today about how we're going to live in the 90s and beyond, basically, aka like the 2030s and beyond. You know what I'm saying? If you if you don't make a decision, if you don't make decisions about how you're going to live, then you've already made a decision, haven't you? You've made a decision to be directed by the environment instead of shaping your own destiny. My whole life changed in just one day. The day I determined not just what I'd like to have in my life or what I wanted to become, but when I decided who and what I was committed to having and being in life. That's a simple distinction, but a critical one. When I decided who and what I was committed to having and being in life. Wow. Think for a moment, okay? Is there a difference between being interested in something and being committed to it? Um, I'd say yes. Being interested in something is like, oh, that looks, like, oh my God, astrology looks interesting, versus someone who is committed to astrology. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. You bet there is. Many times people say things like, gosh, I really would like to make more money, or I'd like to be closer to my kids, or, I really like to make a difference in the world. But that kind of statement is not a commitment at all. It's merely stating a preference, saying, I'm interested in having this happen if I don't have to do anything. That's not power. That's a weak prayer made without even the faith to launch it. Not only do you have to decide what results you're committed to, but also the kind of person that you're committed to becoming. As we discussed in chapter 1, you have to set standards for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself and decide what you should expect from those you care about. If you don't set a baseline standard for what you'll accept in life, you'll find it easy to slip into behaviors and attitudes or or a quality of life that's far below what you deserve. You need to set and live by these standards no matter what happens in your life. Even if it all goes wrong, even if it rains on your parade, even if the stock market crashes, even if your lover leaves you, so what? Even if no one gives you the support that you need, it's okay. Keep your head up. You must stay committed to your decision that you will live your life at the highest level. Yes. Unfortunately, most people never do this because they're too busy making excuses. The reason they haven't achieved their goals are not or are not living the lives they desire is because of the way their parents treated them, or because of the lack of opportunities that they experienced in their youth, or because of the education they missed, or because they're too old, or because they're too young. All of these excuses are nothing more but BS. Belief systems. I that was funny. That was funny. Nah, it is definitely actual BS. I mean, but it is also belief systems, so I guess I get it. Beliefs. It's funny. And they're not only limiting, they're destructive. I'm gonna get up real quick and stretch. Get some flow. Okay. All right. Some water. Using the power of decision gives you the capacity to get past any excuse to change. Wait, using the power of decision gives you the capacity to get past any excuse to change any or every part of your life in an instant. It can change your relationships, your working environments, your level of physical fitness, your income, and your emotional states. It can determine whether you're happy or sad, whether you're frustrated or excited, enslaved by circumstances or expressing your freedom. It's the source of change within an individual, a family, a community, a society, our world. What's changed everything in Eastern Europe in the last few years? The people there, people like you and me, have made new decisions about what they'll stand for, what's acceptable and unacceptable to them, and what they'll no longer tolerate. Certainly, Gorbachev's decisions helped pave the way, but Lech Walesa's determination and commitment to a higher standard built the road of passive economic and political change. I often ask people who complain about their jobs, why did you go to work today? Their answer usually is, because I had to. You and I need to remember one thing. There is virtually nothing that we have to do in this country. You certainly don't have to go to work. Not here. And you certainly don't have to work in a particular location on a particular day. Not in America. You don't have to do what you've done for the last 10 years. You can decide to do something else, something new, today. Right now, you can make a decision to go back to school, to master dancing or singing, to take control of your finances, to learn to fly a helicopter, to turn your body into an inspiration, to begin meditating, to enroll in ballroom dancing, to attend a NASA space camp, to learn to speak French. Oui, je parle français. To read more to your children, to spend more time in the flower garden, even to fly to Fiji and live on an island. If you truly decide to, you can do almost anything. So, if you don't like the current relationship you're in, make the decision now to change it. If you don't like your current job, change it. If you don't like the way you feel about yourself, change it. If it's a higher level of physical vitality and health you want, you can change it now. In a moment, you can seize the same power that has shaped history. I've written this book to challenge you to awaken the the giant power of decision and to claim the birthright of unlimited power, radiant volatility, and joyous passion that is yours. You must know that you can make a new decision right now that will immediately change your life. A decision about a habit you change or skill that you master, or how you treat people, or a call that you'll now make to someone you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe there's someone you should contact to take your career to the next level. Maybe you could make a decision right now to enjoy and cultivate the most positive emotions that you deserve to experience daily to experience daily. It is possible you might consider more joy or more fun or more confidence or more peace of mind. But is it possible you might choose more joy, more fun, or more confidence or more peace of mind? I wanna I'll choose more freedom. Even before you turn the page, you can make use of that power that already resides within you. Make the decision now that can send you into a new, positive, and powerful direction for growth and happiness. I choose freedom. I decide that I will have financial freedom there. Nothing can resist the human that will stake even its existence on a stated purpose. Your life changes the moment you make new, congruent, and committed decisions. Who would have thought that the determination of and conviction of a quiet, unassuming man, a lawyer by trade, and a pacifist by principle would have the power to topple a vast empire? Yet Mahatma Gandhi's indomitable decisions to rid India of British rule was a virtual power keg that set in motion a chain of events that would forever change the balance of world power. People didn't see how he could accomplish his aims, but he'd let himself no other choice than to act according to his conscience. He simply wouldn't accept any other possibility. Decision was the source of John F. Kennedy's power as he faced off Nikita Khrushchev during the tense Cuban Missile Crisis and averted World War III. Decision was the source of Martin Luther King Jr.'s power as he gave voice so eloquently to the frustrations and aspirations of a people who would no longer be denied and forced the world to take notice. Decision was the source of Donald Trump's meteoric rise to the top of the financial world, and also the source of his devastating downfall. It's the power that allowed Pete Rose to maximize his physical abilities to Hall of Fame potential, and then ultimately to destroy his life's dreams. Decisions act as the source of both problems and incredible joys and opportunities. This is the power that sparks the process of turning the invisible into the visible. True decisions are a catalyst for turning our dreams into reality. The most exciting thing about this power, is that you already possess it. The explosive impetus of decision is not something reserved for a select few with the right credentials or money or family background. It's available to the common laborer as well as the king. It's available to you now as you hold this book in your hand. In the very next moment, you can use this mighty force that lies waiting within you if you merely muster the courage to claim it. Will today be the day you finally decide that who you are as a person is much more than you've been demonstrating? Will today be the day you decide once and for all to make your life consistent with the quality of your spirit, then start by proclaiming, "This is who I am. This is what my life is about. And this is what I'm going to do. Nothing will stop me from achieving my destiny. I will not be denied." Amen. In the name of Jesus. Consider a fiercely proud individual, a woman named Rosa Parks, who one day in 1955 stepped into a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, and refused to give up her seat to a white person as she was legally required to do so. Her one quiet act of civil disobedience sparked a firestorm of controversy and became a symbol for generations to follow. It was the beginning of the civil rights movement, a consciousness awakening ground swell that we are grappling with even today as we redefine the meaning of equality, opportunity, and justice for all Americans, regardless of race, creed, or sex. Was Rosa Parks thinking of the future when she refused to give up her seat in that bus? Did she have a divine plan for how she could change the structure